Howdy champs, my name is Mohit and guys, today I'm going to show you how to make a simple calculator. Well, exactly, it's not all that simple, but it's definitely not a scientific calculator. Okay, before I actually talk about the Actionscript and all the assets, I would like to show you a publish preview by hitting Control Enter on my keyboard, guys. So here goes Control Enter. So guys, let me first show you how things respond without me actually inputting any data or inputting any numbers. If I were to straight away hit the equal to sign, you can actually see that it's asking for the user to input two numbers, one out here and the other out here. Okay, and if I were to hit clear, obviously all the fields, text fields get cleared. And if I am to hit any of these buttons, okay, notice how the mathematical operator actually changes out here. Okay, and right, and let's assume that I'm going to enter a value out here, let's say 10.2, and another value, let's say in the negative minus 5.22. and if I'm to hit the equal to button, you see it actually pops up a value which in effect means that this calculator accepts decimal numbers. It also accepts negative values. Right, there you go. If I am to hit a different operator like so, you see this field actually gets cleared, and you have a new computation out here. Right, let me clear everything out. So a very nice cool calculator, guys. I think we should now understand what exactly is there on the stage, after which we should dive inside the actions panel and understand whatever is inside the Actionscript. Cool. Now guys, this is a simple text. It's classic static. Right, there's nothing much that I should explain, and I'm sure you actually know how to get the text field out there on the stage. The stage, guys, is 240 by 241 by 256 pixels. Now that is something that you can decide. Now guys, notice out here, this text field is a classic text field, and I'm sure you understand that you need to hit the text tool and then draw this text field. It's classic and it's been set to input. The type is input, guys. This text field, this empty text field is also classic, not TLF, and input. Okay, and their names respectively are num1, and the instance name for the second text field is num2. In the middle of the two, guys, we have an operator underscore txt, classic dynamic text field, and it's dynamic because it's changing all the time. Right, these two text fields, guys, are of the type input because they will accept data. Also, guys, have a look out here. The alignment is left, the behavior is single line for both the text fields. Okay, anti-alias has been set to animation. Right, and I've actually chosen to show the border around the text. That's why you're actually able to see the border around both these text fields. Cool. And let's talk about this text field, guys, the longer one, the wider one rather. The instance name is result underscore txt. It's classic and dynamic once again. The font family is Georgia, guide. If you have a look inside the library, this font, if I were to double click, has been embedded. I've embedded character ranges all Georgia. Right, font size 22, the color black. And guys, have a look out here for this result underscore txt dynamic white text field. The font is selectable which means that you can actually copy and paste it. Okay, the format this time is aligned to center, not left. Cool. And the behavior is single line. Out here also, guys, the behavior though is single line, we have a left margin of 5 pixels for num1 input text field, as well as for num2 input text field. The left margin is 5 pixels. Behavior again is single line, and we have the show border set to true around the text, right? And guys, all these buttons, this button has an instance name plus btn, this is minus btn, this is multiply btn, and rather plus underscore btn, minus underscore btn, multiply underscore btn, and divide underscore btn are the instance names of all these buttons. I'm not going to show you how to make buttons, guys. Okay, this is not a very basic tutorial, it's off the level intermediate. This button, guys, is has an instance name of equal underscore btn, and this is clear underscore btn. And since all these 6 buttons, 1 2 3 4 5 and 6 are buttons, when you hover over you get that nice finger. Let me show it to you, exporting the Swift. If I were to hover over any of these 6 buttons, guys, you get this nice finger. That does not happen when the symbols are not buttons but movie clips. That does not happen, in which case you have to set the button mode property to true, and then you'll get the nice finger. Otherwise you don't. Anyways, right, so these 6 are buttons and these 4 are text fields. This is an input text field, this is a dynamic text field, this is input again, this is dynamic. Instance names respectively are num1, num2, this is operator underscore txt, this is result underscore txt. Right, so that's all that you have on the stage, guys, and let's see what exactly is inside the action script. And most importantly, guys, let's understand the action script. Okay, now when I say stage.focus is equal to num1, it basically means the moment you test the movie and you start typing, the text field in immediate focus would be num1. See, if I were to hit Control Enter and type a number, it would automatically enter num1 text field, which is this text field, right? So by default the num1 text field gains focus, right? I've set a variable counter of the type number. I'm setting it to 1, and we'll soon see why. Also, guys, by default the operator underscore txt has been set to a value of plus. It will pop up or display this plus operator. I'll tell you where operator txt is. This is operator txt. By default upfront it displays this plus sign, guys. Okay, and now let's see what is this restrict method that I've used with num1 and num2 text fields, guys. Now restrict makes sure that the input text fields will accept only the characters mentioned out here, and I mentioned a minus sign, a decimal point, and the range between 0 and 9. So it's not going to accept alphabets, guys, through the restrict method. Let me show it to you. If I try to enter an alphabet, it does not, but the moment I say 45 or a minus or a decimal, it will. Okay, so I'm actually restricting the characters that can go inside num1 and num2. Right, I'm also declaring one more variable, which is my result of the type number. Cool. Now, guys, to the plus, to the minus underscore btn, to the multiply underscore btn, divide underscore btn, I've added event listeners to all 4 of them, all the mathematical operators buttons. I've added event listeners, and they are of the type mouse click. Okay, and once someone or the user clicks on any of these 4 buttons, the plus underscore btn, the minus underscore btn, the multiply underscore btn, or the divide underscore btn, a function called click handler is run, is executed. Okay, and if somebody clicks on the equal underscore btn, then a function called equal handler is executed. let's understand what exactly is inside the click handler and the equal handler. Let's first talk about the click handler. The moment somebody clicks on the click handler, I'm making sure that my result text field becomes completely blank. Let's check that. If it were let's say 25 out here and 25 out here, and let's say if it displayed 50 out here, in fact right, I'm sorry, what it actually means is if it had, let's say, 15 out here and a 5 out here, okay, and if somebody clicks on any of these four buttons, this text field complete goes blank. See, right? So also if the event dot target is equal to the plus button, basically what it means is if the target in question, the button being pressed or clicked, is plus underscore btn, you have the double equal to sign to check the condition. Okay, if it is so, if the plus underscore btn has been clicked, I'm making sure that the operator txt text field pops up this plus sign. Okay, so basically if somebody clicks out here, this text field out here should display the plus sign. If this button is clicked, out here it should pop up the minus sign. If this is clicked, it should pop up the multiplication sign, right? And if this is clicked, this text field should pop up the division, and that is what is happening out here through these four Actionscript 3 statements. Right, now this is the spine or the soul of the program, guys, the program that has been written. The equal handler, this gets executed when somebody clicks the equal to button, which is this button, equal to button. Let's see what it actually does. Guys, notice out here, if somebody clicks on the plus button, the counter, which was originally set to 1, is set to 1, which is fine. But if somebody clicks on the minus button sorry, the counter is set to a value of 2. If somebody clicks on the multiplication button or the multiply underscore btn, the counter is set to 3. If it is divide underscore btn, then the counter is set to 4. Right. So depending on which button has been pressed, the counter, the variable, actually acquires a different value between 1 to 4, or in the range 1 to 4. Right. So let's see what happens when somebody clicks the equal to button, the equal button. The function checks if the counter is equal to 1. So if the counter has been rendered equal to 1, the result underscore txt, which is that wide text field, guys, let me show it to you. This wide text field flushing from left to the right is actually the result underscore txt will, I beg your pardon, display through the text property num1, and it'll add num1 to num2. Okay, but through a complicated formula. Let's understand this formula. Now this is extremely important. Out here it says parse float. Now guys, understand the text that has been entered inside num1 is actually a string. Okay, num1.text. You can enter a string inside a text field. Num1 and num2 are text fields, guys. The data type is a string. Okay, and when I say parse float, it actually turns the string to a number. Right. So I'm extracting from the string, which has been input by the user. I'm extracting only the number. Okay, basically the number is getting converted to basically the string is getting converted to a number. Okay, I'm doing the same out here, but this time the text field is num2. So we are using the parse float method and then extracting the text from num2, converting it to a number, and these two numbers are getting added out here. And then when I add a string out here, the numbers are getting converted to a string all over again. So we add them by converting them to numbers, and reconvert them to a string by adding the string out here. Okay, and since when you add a string to number, the whole thing then becomes a string, which is then fed to the result_txt, that wide text field. Okay, so it's a little complicated. I hope I've made a decent attempt at making you understand. So passing the strings, converting them to number, adding them up, and then adding an empty string actually makes sure that the whole thing then gets converted to a string. And then once it's a string, I'm displaying it inside the result_txt through the text property, guys. If it is if the counter is 2, now the counter is true only when somebody clicks or hits the minus button. If it is, then instead of adding the two numbers, we are subtracting the two numbers. If it is 3, this happens, counter becomes 3 when somebody hits the multiplication button or the multiply_btn. Then we will multiply the two numbers. If it is 4, which happens in the case when somebody hits the divide_btn, if it is, then we will divide the two numbers. So the first number divided by the second number through the pass float method, guys, and then we add an empty string to convert the whole thing to a string. And once the whole thing is a string, we can then put it inside a text field, guys, because text fields by their very nature will refuse anything which is not a string. We need to convert it to a string before we actually enter it. Righto. Okay, and guys, just in case, if num1.text is null, if it is nothing, and if num2.text is nothing, or if the user has not entered anything in either num1 or num2, okay, and hits the equal to button, if the equal handler is executed, if it does not, if it finds either of the two text fields empty, the input text field is empty, it will display in the result_txt through the text property, enter two numbers, a message which prompts the user to enter two numbers, right? And the clear button, guys, have a look out here. This is the clear button, right? The clear button makes sure that if somebody clicks on the clear button, we have added an event listener to the clear button of the type mouse click. A function called clear handler is executed, and this function clear handler makes sure that the num1 text field, the input text field, is made equal to num2, is also made equal to result_txt through the text property, and rendered null, empty string, right? So let's test the whole thing all over again. So 10.22 plus 22.10 equals 32.32 indeed. If I were to, let's say, put a minus sign out here and hit equal to once again, it makes it equal to 11.88, which is correct. If I were to change the operator to, let's say, a multiplication and hit the enter to sign, so equal to button, this is the result. I'm sure it is. If we change the operator, hit the equal to button once again, this is the result. I'm sure it is. Let me hit the clear button. Let's try something else. Let's try 10 divided by 2. Indeed it is 5. Let's try 10.5 divided by 2, which is 5.25, which is absolutely correct. Let me put a minus sign out here. Let's say equal to, and there you go. So guys, this simple calculator accepts decimal numbers, accepts negative values as well, and works like a charm. Alright, the action script isn't too long either, barely 35 lines odd. Right. So guys, I hope you like this tutorial. I hope you learned something from it, and I hope to see you very soon with yet another Flash and ActionScript 3 tutorial. You have a very good day, guys. And guys, this project is available, the FLA file is available for download at http://qualitylessons.net/downloads. I'll see you very soon, guys. You have a good day. Bye bye. Peace.